Hey everybody, good morning. How are you? This is Jeebs. I'm your old composer here at the World Music Reaction Review channel. And so many video games out there. I just love the fact that every time I turn around, there's a brand new one that people are saying, try this, try this, try this. So I'm going to try a game called World of Warcraft. And the name of the track that I'm doing is called Legends of Azeroth. And I believe this might be the theme or the opening. This looks like it's a huge OST. So right now, start firing in the comments and let me know which one or ones you'd like for me to check out from World of Warcraft. Also want to let you guys know that tonight on Twitch, I'm actually going to be doing a nice run on Dark Souls. So if you're a Twitch member, the link will be down below. You want to check it out. I also leave the VODs, the video on demands of other Twitches that I've done, live streams of all the other games that I've done that are open to the public. You don't have to be a member of Twitch. You just click on the link, and those are all there for you. I don't do that other click thing where you have to pay more to see it or anything. You just go there and go get you some. Go eat yourself some of that stuff. Anyhow, so thank you so much for your support just the same. My Venmo for my cup of coffee, excuse me, or PayPal or Patreon, any kind of support. Even just leaving a comment and liking, that's super cool beans. But all those links are down below too. All right, guys, let's do this. This is World of Warcraft, and the name of the track is Legends of Azeroth. All right. Very unique thing that's happening here. This is the first time I've heard this on an OST. The odd time that it started off in, and what I mean by that is that if you just listen to music and you know nothing about music, and you're actually one of the lucky ones. Sometimes I feel like I wish I could be a pure listener like so many people out there, because when you do what I do for a living, and then now this channel, all I do is listen to music and peel it apart. So it's like always looking under the hood instead of sometimes just standing back and appreciating the car for what it is a very unique meter that is being done. So 4/4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. 3/4 is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Gives you that. This is in 7/8. The opening was 7/8. It's called an odd time. So this kind of push and pull of the meter, it kind of makes you go you feel a little uncomfortable, because naturally, inherently, we listen for like a safety moment in a rhythmical arrangement in music. Where's that? Sometimes we latch onto this. This was in 7/8 at the beginning. And then they played around a little bit as the arrangement starts to build, because at the beginning it was more like establishing a powerful ambient ethereal vibe, just we're coming to get you kind of a thing, but very wide open. There's There isn't really any serious melody or arrangements going on. Then they step into this next section. Excuse me, the composer steps into this next section, and now we're starting to get a little bit of an arrangement in there that has, because this is the first track I'm listening to, it may not be the right one to listen to at first, but it's starting to establish a little bit of a melody. So now we're starting to get some of the gliding string arrangements to come across and stuff like that, and then we're starting to get a little bit of the pulsing of, you know, the strings that are starting to starts to bring up a little bit of the anxiety and a little bit of, you know, whatever's coming into the next movement here. Okay, so like I said, this track really seemed to have been more of an establishing scene track instead of like a big thematic piece that gave me anything that was like a memorable melody. And that's not I'm not saying, trust me, I'm definitely not saying anything against the composer, what I'm listening to or anything. Perhaps maybe isn't the right track for me to start off with. And that's nobody's fault because everybody has their favorite tracks and stuff. But you know what I'm going to do for you guys? I'm just going to continue on a little bit. Why not, right? Why not? I just got a gigantic cup of coffee and you're here checking this out, and then this is your favorite. I'm just going to keep this going. This is some kind of video on YouTube of a full OST, but at least it has chapters. So I'm just going to continue on. Let's just go ahead and listen to The Shaping of the World, and let's see what we got here. All right. Okay, so as this starts to blow up, I love the switch off in the meter. Obviously now we're in a whole different vibe of the track. I don't know what's actually being played here. You guys probably tell me, obviously. So this one, obviously, remember we were talking about meter in that very first one, very odd meter. This one has what I would consider a legacy, composer's legacy go-to vibe when we're on mission or something like that, like somewhere in the game or somewhere in the movie or something like that. We're on our way, and in this case, this is like a 6/8 or a 3/4. You've heard me talk about this in the past. If you excuse me, if you've listened to any of my videos, that kind of that swaying kind of mood, a waltz kind of a mood, that would be in 3/4, 6/8. Telltale, you know, agitation with the strings that are going off. But here's what I really loved about what I just heard is that when we broke into this last section here, how the composer brings the energy down and uses this beautiful, it's kind of muted French horn sound, and the melody that the French horn is playing is just one of those kind of really super buttery, but the darkness of bringing the tones down or bringing the level down and just having a very slow pattern going on, and then another melody creeping up as a more of a robust French horn actually starts to hold another melody as it's coming up. It's a little louder. So now all of a sudden I'm beginning to get an semblance of like a melody and an idea of what the composer's melodic thoughts are as we're creeping through this. And I'm sure there's tons of great melodies in here, but at least in this one now I'm finally to get a little bit of feel of a melody and where the composer wants to go with it. That was really nice. At the end, that was really, really super cool use of a combo of those strings that are going ba 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 ba. But there's also a pizzicato on top of it, which adds a little bite in the tempo. And so the pizzicato is when the strings, you see string players going ding ding, or you know, in this case, if it's a cello or a double bass or an upright. And what that does is that the kind of anticipation of that ending da 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 da. By adding that, when I said there's a little bite on top, it adds a little bit of a tightness to it, which I thought was really cool considering the composer's bringing the levels down and kind of like letting you get ready to glide into the next piece most likely. And then finally, da 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 da, the melody starts to formulate and stuff like that. So now as the melody, you know, was formulating itself and making itself more apparent through this, then I was able to sit back and kind of glide into the rest of the arrangements, which is always so fun to listen to because there's always that establishing anxiety or that kind of. But you know, when you're working with a full orchestra, you have so many things that you can do to add these little counter arrangements or actually second level melodies and stuff. So while the French horns are going and holding the main part of the melody, you have the bottom end that's holding a little bit of the anxiety or the what's the word I'm looking for? Not the anxiety, but the, you know, hardly wait to get to it kind of vibe. Old man, I'm running out of metaphors or things to explain it. But there's this other string section that was like, and that's part of the magic of what orchestrators, composers, and stuff can do when they're working with the complete, you know, when the game developers say this is the style of music that we want, this is how we want it to sound orchestrally. That's almost like giving the composer just a much broader palette of sounds and stuff. And still, excuse me. In the two tracks that I've heard, it's not like the composer has used the power of the orchestra in its fullest, but still pulls out some really heavy, nice, dark, moving emotions and that kind of gameplay anxiety to get ready and let's kick some ass kind of vibe. So, all right, guys. Well, listen, I look forward to your suggestions down below. More from World of Warcraft definitely coming up. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me this morning. Also, don't forget today, Twitch, 6 p.m. on PST, Pacific Standard Time. That's 4 o'clock here in Hawaii for me. And hopefully I'll see you there. Thank you so much for hanging out on the channel. Thank you much for all the support. Looking forward to your comments. All right, take care. See ya.